foot. I know. Because I think the most frightening thing that can happen to anyone really is shock. Do you agree? And the shock in this is somebody had a terrible shock here. In the old days, on this part of Windermere Lake, at Bowness here, there was a ferry that went across to the far side, to Sorey and Hawkshead and Clafe Heights. And the ferryman always sat in the pub here at Bowness until somebody on the other side said, "Ferry, we want you, boat!" And there was one night that the ferryman was sat in the pub and it was freezing cold and he was hugging the fire and it was nearly the end of his shift and he thought, soon I'll be going home to my wife and my children. I'll be able to tell my little boy and my little girl a bedtime story. I hope that nobody calls for me now. Sure enough, at that very moment he heard a voice say, "Boat!" on the other side. He thought, I'm going to have to go. So he finished his drink, and because it was a cold night, he had a rum and a beer. Drank it down, the rum to keep him warm and the beer to quench his thirst. And he climbed into his little ferry rowing boat, because in those days it was just a rowing boat. These days it's a chain ferry. And he started to row over, and he rowed, and he saw the silver lines behind his rowing boat as he rowed all the way across. And he tied up at the pier on the far side, and he had a look round for who had called for a ferry. There was nobody on the pier, and he could not see a person anywhere. He walked all the way around up there going, "Ferry here, ferry here," but nobody was there. So he walked all the way up to the quarry. And when he walked up to the quarry, to the rocks where they'd been digging rocks at Clafe Heights, he saw something. Now, I don't know what he saw there. Some sort of ghost or spook, like my friend here. Because whatever he saw when he got there, it was so terrifying that it turned his hair white and made him age 20 years in 1 minute. So suddenly he looked 20 years older. Now that's scary, I think. That's why I say it's the scariest story for the grown-ups than for the children. He was white-faced, white-haired, and he looked 20 years older. So when the ferryman arrived down at Bowness, they said, "Where is," whatever his name was, John I seem to think it was, and they saw the boat coming over, and they looked, but it didn't look like John, because he's had such a terrible shock. In fact, the shock affected him so badly that the story has it, within a week he was dead. So that is the story of the crier of Clafe. And they do say sometimes now, if you stand, and we shall be back there in a bit, where some of you just got on the boat at Bowness, late at night, you can on the other side hear a voice saying, "Boat!" But the Bowness people, if they hear that, they never go over there now to collect whoever's calling, because they're not completely sure what they're going to find when they get there. But it's my version of the story of the crier of Clafe, and that was given to me by a local boatman here